The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
I'm Carol King, Rachel's mommy. And I just wanted to say a couple of things. One, to thank Detective Henry, who told me on Tuesday morning, I'm sorry to tell you that your daughter, Rachel King, has been killed. I thank Lieutenant Richards. I'm grateful for DA Steele, Assistant DA Caroline, and all of those in the Cheltenham Police District, those in Philadelphia who also had a hand in helping us. As a family of believers in Christ Jesus, we believe that vengeance does belong to God. Our hearts are hurting, but we also believe this: in time, they will be healed and we will move forward with our grandson, Jalen. We just wanted to have an opportunity to say thank you, because we know the road ahead is not going to be easy, but we believe in the team of people that are here today, and even those behind the scenes that we may never know their names, but they are going to work and bring justice for Rachel Elizabeth King. She may not have been famous, but she was, as her father said, and we agree, she was great. So her memory will never be lost. Thank you so much.
I would simply like to thank DA Steele and his office, the Cheltenham Police Department,
Yes.
the Montgomery County law enforcement for their diligence and their dedication, for taking this case personally. I would also like to thank the Philadelphia Police Department for their collaborative work with Montgomery County. We can't articulate how grateful we are for the work that has been done to this point, and the work that is still yet to be done that they are committed to doing. Above all, we are in agreement. We want justice done. We want it done swiftly. We want it done accurately. And we want it done fairly. Lastly, I would like to...
Hello everyone, it's Queen B, and I'm back to you with another video. This video is an update pertaining to the Rachel King case, as there has been arrests made in the unfortunate unaliving of a mother, daughter, sibling, teacher, and community member who lost her life last month. Before I get into my commentary, I would like to send my condolences not only to the King family, but to the Farrell family who lost their children to gun violence days apart. The reason why I'm bringing up the Farrell family is James Farrell Jr. unfortunately lost his life on April 7th, 2023, days before Rachel King's unaliving on April 11th, 2023. It has been confirmed by the Montgomery District Attorney has charged Zakkee Stephen Alhakima of the unaliving of James Farrell Jr. in addition to first-degree unaliving and conspiracy charges for Rachel King, alongside Juile Jean, who is set to appear in court this week for a preliminary hearing on the charges, as well as Alhakima, who remains awaiting arraignment, facing the charges as previously mentioned. Reports claim that Rachel King was dating William Hayes up to the point of her unaliving. While the two were dating, William Hayes had an affair with Juile Jean. Once Rachel King found out, the two broke up and then got back together. It is being reported that after the two got back together, William Hayes broke off the affair with Juile Jean, in which Juile Jean began to stalk, harass William Hayes and Rachel King via phone calls and text messages. In addition, this led to William Hayes getting a order of protection last year. Prosecutors would state that Juile Jean reached out to Zakkee Stephen Alhakima, and the two began texting each other. Those texts included Rachel King's apartment via Google Maps, in addition to pictures of Rachel King to positively identify her. Reports go on to state that back in March, Juile Jean bought him the Mercury sedan, which was used as the getaway car on April 11th, 2023, when Miss King was unfortunately unalived. Reports go on to claim that detectives recovered at least 6 9mm casing from the alleged ghost gun. Hours after the unaliving of Rachel King, officers found the Mercury used in her unaliving, attempted to pull over the car, but the driver took officers on a chase. Officers identified the man behind the wheel as Zakkee Stephen Alhakima. During a search of Alhakima's cell phone, authorities located a photo taken on March 16, 2023 of a weapon. Though the ghost gun was not found, through a national ballistics database, authorities matched the shell casings with those taken from the crime scene and determined that they came from the same weapon. Authorities also interviewed Juile Jean, who denied any involvement in Rachel King's unaliving. After getting a warrant for Juile Jean's cell phone, they found that Juile Jean allegedly deleted over 700 plus text messages minutes before their meeting, including all communication with Alhakima. In addition, they found Cash App records between the two alleged suspects in which a transaction did occur. Now you will watch this press conference with the district attorney, and I will be back with my commentary.
Facts of this case and how these two defendants conspired and planned for nearly 2 months to kill Rachel King is truly disturbing. It was a cold-blooded killing, a targeted murder of an innocent person planned by these two defendants and horrifically carried out in front of King's son. I must emphasize the excellent investigation by the Cheltenham Township Police and the Montgomery County detectives who uncovered this conspiracy bit by bit, piecing this puzzle together until we have the full picture of what was behind this murder plot. Rachel King was in a long-time relationship with a man named William Hayes, who it turned out had had an affair sometime last year with Juile Jean. But he broke it off, and he and Rachel had worked out to continue their relationship. But Jean harassed both Hayes and the victim, watching them, texting them, calling so much that Hayes actually sought court relief, filing and receiving a protection from abuse order on Juile Jean last December, and that was before Judge Dan Clifford here in Montgomery County. Detectives found that in mid-February, the two defendants began communicating by cell phone. Jean knew Alhakima, or Zakkee, in her contacts through the father of her children, who was Alhakima's cousin. On February 20th, Alhakima saved this Google image to his photos. It's the apartment complex where Rachel and her son lived, with a pin dropped on Rachel's exact apartment and a red arrow showing the route to take to get to the residence. It was a route that Alhakima would take a number of times, as we recovered video surveillance that showed Alhakima traveled a number of times in the days leading up to the murder after he obtained a Mercury Sable, which he was driving when he killed Rachel, but I'll talk about that a little bit in a moment. So 6 days after the map is saved to Alhakima's phone, cell phone location data and text messages show that the two defendants met up in Philadelphia, and detectives located a single photo of the victim. Now, this is important because Rachel King being displayed on a screen, which through some expert analysis determined that's Juile Jean's cell phone. She's holding up a picture of the victim, Rachel King, that Alhakima takes a picture of. Her hand, her phone, showing the victim. This photo was taken at 2:17 p.m. and the screen capture was saved at 2:21 when both of the defendants were together in this display of a number of photos of Rachel. The defendants were also connected through a silver Mercury Sable, and I'll turn to that. Many of you saw this because this is the photo that we put out after the killing of Rachel. And this was driven by the defendant as he followed Rachel from her residence to the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, where he exited the vehicle and shot her multiple times. And he left behind 6 9mm fired cartridge casings, or FCCs. This silvery Mercury Sable was purchased on March 30th, less than 2 weeks before the murder, when Alhakima and Jean went to the Philadelphia car dealer together. The vehicle was sold for $1,500 and bought in Juile Jean's name, and then Alhakima is using it. On April 7th, the same silver Mercury Sable was captured on surveillance video outside a beer store at 5100 North Broad Street, where the victim, James Farrell, was fatally shot multiple times by a man matching Alhakima's description. So the Philadelphia murder occurs on the 7th of April. And in that case, the shooter, the defendant, fled in a silver Mercury Sable with a sunroof. And there were 11 9mm fired casings, or FCCs, that were recovered from that murder scene. So our homicide scene and the Philadelphia homicide scene, both the evidence from each of those was entered into our newly acquired NIBIN machine. And as some of you know, because I think a number of you were there when we did the press conference on it, is National Integrated Ballistics Information Network. When I stood with a number of the district attorneys, as well as our high-intensity drug trafficking director in ATF, and what this machine does is it's able to compare a fingerprint or unique markings on these FCCs, or the fired casings, to all 6 million FCCs from gun crimes that are stored in this database. Now, this is significant because it's, you know, we have April 7th and we have April 11th. And they're a match. The match was confirmed by physical examination of the FCCs by firearms and ballistics experts from our detective bureau. Further, the firearms and ballistics expert found evidence that the FCCs would be consistent with having come from a privately made firearm, commonly known as a ghost gun. Guess what? We didn't recover the gun, but we recovered a photo that our experts say, and this photo was on Alhakima's cell phone and was taken on March 16, 2023. So
The King family and the Farrell family will forever be connected because one man believed that he could be judge, jury, and ultimately executioner of their loved one. But this story ultimately goes back to the affair of William Hayes and Juile Jean. Ladies, let us be honest. These men love to tell stories. They will have you, their girlfriend, their wife, their partner, this one and that one. The minute that you found out that you were indeed the other person within a committed relationship, that should have been your exit to leave William Hayes alone. But instead, you took it upon yourself to stalking not only your ex, but you stalked Miss King, leading up to her unfortunate unaliving. You assumed that by taking out Rachel King, that William Hayes would come back to you. Unfortunately, William Hayes will go on about his life with someone else. It is unfortunate that your children will have to see you behind a glass. But at least you can talk to them and they can talk to you. While Rachel King's child will unfortunately visit a gravesite and go through life's journey without his number one supporter. And that is the unfortunate situation that you have placed not only your children, but also Rachel King's child. The fact that you went out of your way to have this much venom, this much anger towards Rachel King says a lot about what you prioritize in your life. You do not value your children's life, Rachel King's life, nor her child's life. Now everyone has to pay a price because of this one act. Now you will watch this brief flashback and I will be back with my final commentary. That the suspect didn't even open the door. He knew exactly where Rachel King was. He was following Rachel King. And the fact that it occurred in daylight lets me know the amount of boldness, of disrespect, and venom you have for Miss King. And the fact that her child unfortunately had to witness this unaliving screams that you were willing to traumatize not only this child, but traumatizing persons who had to hear the horrific unaliving of this mother, daughter, sibling, teacher, and community member. It's either this monster knew Rachel King's routine or was paid to track down Rachel King and take her out regardless of her final destination. The fact that Black women are being targeted and are being unalived at high rates should be an alarm to everyone within our communities. The fact that Black women are targeted in their own cars and being taken out screams the untold danger that awaits Black women. When will we actively start protecting Black women within our communities? Protect Black mothers, known and unknown. Say their names, known and unknown. James Farrell Jr., Rachel Elizabeth King. And as always, please be safe out here, and I will see you in the next video.